Hello, my dear audiences. Welcome to the show. Jack Chow hosting East-West show with many years with lots of pride under the G&E Studio, that big flag. Well, you know, like I mentioned, we kind of a different media. To break the news, to report the news, to get to the news is one thing. Sometimes the more we do, quite often than not, is that we go behind the news. We go into the story, or we dig into the story to find the stories in the story, right? Or stories after the story. Sometimes we see things on a more profound basis. We get to the spirit. Right now, the whole world is talking about war crimes with these war victims, right? Speaking of war victims, we have the Syrian refugees coming out, gushing out in the exodus to Europe over sea, rough sea.
Yes.
Lots of them
Very
died.
dangerous.
Lots of them died.
Right.
To get to the refusals.
Yes.
Right. To get to the denials.
That's right.
To get to the no.
Well spoken.
Right. All of a sudden, there is a hand extended to them from Germany, from a great lady named Angela Merkel.
Right.
Say, we want you. All right.
Yeah.
When I heard that news, I was crying. I was touched. All right. I was so relieved that at the end of the day, in the world, whole world, which is full of money, full of conflicts, there's still something pure that stays there, right? Now to get to the point, believe me, I first thought of you. First second, I thought of my friend, wonderful writer and the big philosopher, my godfather kind of friend, Ken Hemming.
Thank you, Jack.
He holds a very high position at Pasadena City College Foundation. And right now, I dragged him just over from that meeting.
That's right.
Right. You're voting today, right?
I've got a big, beautiful day in my life today.
Okay, very good. So, Ken, seriously, welcome to the show.
Thank you. I love to be here, and I love to share our thoughts with your viewers, who I love desperately.
Mm-hmm, yeah. And I read from the news about that news. I read on the news about a huge story of it.
Yes.
So, to brief my audiences about the whole thing, you know, we mainstream media in this country has a little kind of a bias that we take what we want to take. Right? We take what we want to take. For example, sometime when we see something that we don't like, for example, the Japan restoration of their Constitution or Article 9, whatever, right? And you barely hear any report, any news, or any comment or whatever, because we take a take, they take, right? So we thought we are on the same boat with them. And now, at this very moment, we're thinking about what Germany has done, has gotten too much credit. So we wouldn't like anybody to get more credit than us. So for that reason, our audience might be less informed.
Sure.
Can you please do me a favor? I mean a huge favor, my serious invitation. Bring the story of the Syrian war, the rival war, okay, the ISIS killing that produces the victims, the refugees, from that point on till whatever about what's happening, please.
Well, you know, Syria, in terms of Germany, by the way.
I have lots of report on that.
Right.
I want you to brief my audience.
Okay.
Please.
Yeah, there's 80 million people in Germany, and they're allowing 800,000 people in there, and that's good on the surface and sweet and kind and everything. I'll get right to Syria, but there's other issues that a company must take care of its own strength and its own people first, before opening the door too wide. So who knows what the economic impact and also the emotional impact on other Germans will be with 800,000, that's 1% of their population being added on, all of which come in without a job at the point where they come in, and then what do? Okay, so does everybody have to give up whatever? I don't know. But in Syria, of course, their leader Assad, has some very negative personal attributes. He can kill his enemy with joy, and they have great factions of ISIS trying to get in there, and also Syrians themselves. So there's so many little groups fighting each other there. And our president at one time had drawn a red line over there, and then when it was drawn for happened, nothing happened. So, we always have to back up, I think, what we say. I think that makes sense, or we lose our respect. So over in Syria, everybody wants out, because unless you're in the Assad group, that gets treated well by the government.
You're right.
Then they just want out because they're enemies. And there's, again, these religious differences end up with so many people dead and fighting each other. And there's really there's no clear winner or loser. Everybody's a loser, basically, so I'll correct myself, okay? There's no winner. Nobody can win over there. And it's an international tragedy, and these people are so desperate. Like, we have our problems in America with Mexicans coming off across the border, and maybe one or two sometimes might drown in the river, Rio Grande or something. But over there, there's like 500 go down in a boat, 200 go down. And then the thing that just happened is the body of a 3-year-old kid just washed up on shore. This could bring tears to my eyes. And it just has impacted the international awareness of the depth of the tragedy when you see a precious little child wash up on shore.
About 3 or 4.
Right, where the family and others are trying to get to a place where they can live safely. And I have a good idea that is not my original idea, which I can share if you'd like, about what one thing to do with refugees. But it's an international tragedy. Our country is talking about taking in 10,000 right now, and yet you're absolutely letting in some jihadists that will kill some of us. So we could talk about whether we should or not.
Of course. In other words, if you talk about the cross line, the border lines from between Mexico and China, and the United States, you're talking about individual actions.
Right.
Individual choices. Right. You have your
Big
right
difference.
to protect it, to keep them stay where put.
Right.
Like that kind.
Right.
And this is I call it an exodus. It's an
exodus. It is.
Mass
exodus.
Massive way.
It is.
Trying to live, trying to survive.
Nothing like this since World War II.
Yes, exactly. So it is situation. It is the product of the wartime, of the war zone.
Yes.
That humanity kicks in.
Yeah.
Am I right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So it's not your border,
Desperation.
my border. It's not a your border, my border, your money, my money thing. It's a life. It's a human life thing.
Well, and when you look at the film, of these people, you'll see them, they've got clothes on. A lot of them aren't carrying one little piece of luggage. That's all they've got.
Yeah, that's the whole.
They have their clothes, they have their family, they have their love, and they have hope. And the hope may never come true.
They ran away.
Right.
They ran away from a slaughterhouse.
Right.
Like that kind.
A probable death.
Yeah. So they shouldn't be packed with their luggages, whatever. They have all they have. That's it. And then
and they're walking or on the
bad
ocean.
Bad thing is that lots of them died on the water.
Lots.
Rough sea.
Lots.
Rough sea.
Overloaded boats.
Rough sea.
Yeah.
Condition.
Yes, sir.
Small boat.
Yeah.
Right.
Overloaded.
As transportation.
Yeah.
And overloaded as condition.
It's horrible.
And fourthly, once they are finally seeing the land, seeing somebody's story though, and there's a refusal, such as Hungary.
Right.
Such as Hungary, right?
Well, right, and such as the whole Middle East, they're not letting them in. Okay, in Saudi Arabia, they have tents for 3 million people that are air conditioned. For the once a year, they all go to praise Muhammad, whatever. It's a once a year deal, and they won't let anybody in. They could absolutely. They got all the money in the world, and they could absolutely help their own Muslim brothers. And they're not.
But they're not.
But they're not, right.
Doing it. They're
No,
not.
they're
doing
not.
That. Neither did Hungarians,
Right.
nor did Italians, or nor did even British.
And you know, you can't really blame them.
No,
but
no,
you
no,
can you can be
No. I'm not blaming them.
traumatized by the reality.
I know.
I'm traumatized by it.
I know that.
Yeah.
I know that.
Yeah.
So, and they must have their own reason, which is understood, to worry about their own economy.
Right.
Their
Which are
own
bad.
shared life, whatever,
yeah.
to receive 800,000 people at one time.
Right.
At least a given short time, though, that's really a burden. Really, really a big burden.
Well, and, you know, part of it, Jack, comes down because we've talked about this. We have too many people on the planet. Everybody keeps hugging, kissing, and having babies, which we all love. Okay, but we have too many people.
But every single one is alive.
Yes, that I cherish at the moment of conception.
Every single one is alive.
You're 100% right. Every soul is equal.
And your book, right?
Yes.
And oh, by the way, I have once again take these out of my file. I keep. I like this book. My friend, Mr. Ken Hemming, wrote "Life is Simple: 100 Words to Live By."
Yes, sir.
In his book, there's lots of chapters talking about the value of life.
Absolutely.
How you cherish.
Yes. Cherish is one of the big words in there.
That's the dearest thing
It's a
on earth that you have,
Right.
and human have. You will have each other. You should have to respect each other.
Right,
So,
and dignity.
and it's a crisis. I mean, from behind the crisis, we dig in. We see something heroic. We saw the German move, right? So with my friend, Mr. Ken Hemming, in talking about the Syrian victims of the refugees of wartime, of war zone, getting a little revival or get a little relief, and they seem to have found a home. So
Yeah.
we give them.
I give them thumbs up.
Yeah.
But just a little thought of humor. At the same time, Germany's reputation for their engineering genius
we'll talk
has
about
been
that.
tarnished.
Of course,
yeah.
of course, yeah. Okay.
So,
Let's
wow.
take a very short moment out. When we come back, we will continue to find. And to be honest with you, that I'm moved by the story. I'm totally moved by the story that I would like to go join them if I could. So stay with me, please. We'll be right back.